This week in PlayStation, we're talking about Uncharted and The Last of Us' Bruce Straley being back. Somehow, Discord coming to Xbox before PlayStation, and the world, minus Blessing and myself, loves Stray. So what's that mean for PlayStation indies? We'll have all this and more, because this is PSI Love You XOXO. Welcome to the show, everybody. That's Blessing, that's Janet, I'm Greg, and you can get this show on patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames. There you can watch us record it live, get it ad-free, and get the weekly post show. If you have no bucks to toss our way, support us on the Epic Game Store, Fortnite, Rocket League, and more with the creator code KindaFunny. You can get PSI Love You XOXO for free with ads and without the post show on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Fargo Brady, Delaney Twinning, James Hastings, Casey Andrew, Gordon McGuire. My teleprompter, I got ahead of it. The Al Tribesman, that's right, the Predator. Today we are brought to you by ExpressVPN, MeUndies, and Athletic Greens. But let's start with a PSN message from Yo! Hello, Blessing. Hello, Janet. How are you?
Hi.
Doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why good, Bless? Why is life good right now?
I don't know, man. It's a Thursday. It's almost Friday. They say today is Friday Junior. And
Friday Eve.
Friday Eve. And so I'm trying to add some Friday energy to this Thursday, even though I know people are listening to this on Friday, which means that the Friday is their Friday.
That means it works less. You added so much energy that it is indeed Friday for a lot of people.
There you go.
I guess that works. Yeah. Janet, how is your energy? You just came off of hosting on MinMax.
Yes. I'm feeling pretty good because I know that after this, I will just lay down. So there's nothing like knowing that you have a nap waiting for you. But I'm all in on PlayStation because I just did second episode of Deepest Dive, which was on Jack and Daxter. Obviously, I know that game super well. And we do it with a bunch of community questions. So just like how, we have one coming up here for PSN message, but it's super helpful with just structuring it, making it fun. But it was a long show and it was just literally coming in hot from one PlayStation thing to another. But I'm immersed and I'm ready to go.
So here's a question I have about the Deepest Dive and its fact that it's episode 2 Jack and Daxter.
Yes.
You're still doing Precursor's Legacy?
Yeah, this is episode 2 of 2. So depending on the game, we'll have however many episodes we think the game needs. So for this one, we did just in 2 parts, the up until Rock Village, I think, and then the rest of the game was the next part. For a game that's much longer, I don't think we did. We did God of War 2018, and I don't know how many episodes that was, but I imagine it was quite a few. Versus this game, it's an 8-10 hour platformer, 2 episodes. 2 hours each, enough to dig into it. When I did the spoiler cast, not Deepest Dive, but spoiler cast with Bless on Life is Strange, I think we hung out for 4 hours or 3 hours at least. So yeah, it can be a lot to unpack.
Interesting. I like that. You can get that over at MinMax, or is that just a Patreon thing?
It's over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/minmax with 2 N's. But on Patreon for $5, you can unlock the podcast version of that. And that also includes being able to write in to get your questions read on the Deepest Dive because it's all community-led on what people are talking about.
Well, as Janet mentioned, speaking of community-led things from Patreon, Marty wrote in to patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames and says, what is your next platinum trophy going to be? Mine is going to be Yakuza 6.
Oh.
Janet, of course, you just crossed the finish line with Horizon, your latest in a long line of platinum trophies that you refuse to let me see. What will be next one?
I'll have to unlock those then, if that's true. It's funny because I was comparing trophies the other day. I think I finished Uncharted and I was I wonder what this platinum looks like. I wasn't going to get it. So I don't think I was looking to get the Uncharted platinum because that would be a lot of work. But they have some pretty tough things in there. I think there's a time-based one and some other. And I'm what kind of sick fuck is out here getting this Uncharted platinum? And I'm let me look at Greg's trophies. I did the comparison and you have it. And I'm this dude is sick as fuck. And then I was looking at it has the timestamps too. And I think you got it 2 a.m, 8 million years ago. Yeah. And I was this is some twisted stuff.
Was it Uncharted 1?
That. I think it was 4.
Oh, okay. Uncharted 1 Platinum, I legitimately remember there's like a section seared in my brain of fighting all the pirates, and there's a Jeep in the middle of the open arena, and like I remember screaming into the pillow. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's 2 a.m. and I'm trying to do this fucking thing, and I'm just like screaming into a pillow, so angry.
It's a series with invisible collectibles. Like I cannot imagine. I don't want to do that.
Uncharted 4 had a better trophy list. That one, and it's a doable trophy list for sure.
I do think that things that we've progressed a lot in games. I think my next platinum, though, after getting the Horizon one, which was very fun, and I like that one a lot, even though you can't clear up all the map fog, which sucks. But because I literally spent time flying around. That's not a trophy. I just wanted to do it. I think it might be Stray. Or yeah, I mean, because I don't really have anything lined up. I also just got the platinum on my account for Jack and Daxter, again for min-max, because I did that on one of my alternative accounts back when I did it last year, because I wanted like a fresh front to back trophies for the stream. And they let you delete them. So yeah, I think maybe the Stray one, if not that one. I mean, I think that'd be it. I usually look for a game that feels approachable, doable, and that I've been enjoying.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the last one that kind of checks all of those boxes. What about y'all?
Well, before we go any, there is, I don't like to often rub it in people's faces. They listen in their cars later, but they're missing what I like to call the party on patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames, where you can be here and chat alongside. And in the chat, Ryan Povala Higgins is spreading a bunch of lies and says, just a reminder, platinums mean nothing. And if I could, I don't think I can ban you on YouTube on this Patreon stream, but if I could, I would, Ryan. I want you to know that right now. Oh, I can.
Wow.
You're in timeout, Ryan. That's what's happened. You've been putting timeout over there.
That's why I have the trophy chalice that I drink out of every time I get a platinum.
Sure.
The only time I didn't do that was when I got the platinum for Horizon, because I still had COVID and I wasn't drinking any alcohol then. So I drank that later. But yeah, thank you for deleting your messages, Ryan.
No. When I timed him out, his messages got deleted. Ryan didn't do that by choice.
People will say that, like, who cares about the trophies because it's just a stupid virtual thing. That's all of gaming. That's like everything that we're doing, I hate to break it to you. None of this is real, but it's a lot of fun. So, there we go. Oh yeah, it's because of the Omega Buster says it's the mispronunciation of the name that did it.
After years of mispronouncing a name, now Greg bans him. Now he put himself on the radar. For years we've known Ryan Povala Higgins. We just didn't know that to read the W as a V, but now we do. And then he had to come in and step in and say something stupid. He had to get timed out. That's how it is around here. Trogs know what it's about. Blessing, what's your next platinum?
First of all, Ryan, I'll tell you right now, I acknowledge the correct pronunciation of your name, but I apologize in the future when I will continue to mispronounce it, because that W really sticks out. And I've said Paola for how many years now?
Real quick, too. Sorry, Ryan. You know how on Twitch, when I time people out as a joke, I can untime them out pretty easily. I don't have that option on YouTube, so you got to ride it out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Stuck in the void. There were a couple of platinums that I wanted to get earlier on in the year that I started on and got sidetracked on, and I kind of want to make my way back to, but I don't know when. Miles Morales, for me, the thing that was hindering me from getting the platinum when I originally played it was the second playthrough that you had to do. And if you guys remember, I did that second playthrough earlier on in the year. So now for me with that game, it's just cleanup. It's a matter of picking it back up to doing it. I got sidetracked by Dying Light 2 and Horizon in the February rush. The original review season took me away from Miles Morales. And so I could see myself getting back to that. There was 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. I am legitimately 2 hours away from platining that game. All I need to do is go through all of the turn-based strategy segments of the game, and like get like a certain rank on them, I think, or either that or do the objectives, I forget which. But once I clear that, that'll be done, and that is legit 2 hours. And I'm finding it tough to go back just to do that stuff, because that was my least favorite stuff in the game. But that's hanging around too. Sonic, the collection that just came out, Sonic Origins, that's another game that I want to platinum, because the platinum is relatively pretty easy as long as I get through everything, and I am like maybe 70% of the way through, and that last 30% would probably take me like 7 hours ish. I want to probably less than that, honestly. And that's another one where I got sidetracked from review games, because I've been I said earlier today I was triple fisting reviews, and that's what I would like to get back to. But then there are other games on the horizon, games like Escape Academy that just came out. And I started playing that with Yami last night, literally. And it's funny, us talking about platinums and trophies not mattering and all that stuff. I'm somebody who, I would never say that trophies and platinums don't matter, but I don't care about them. I'm not a collectathon person.
That's a fair thing to say, Ryan. Yeah. That's a normal thing to say. You know what I mean? Instead, you're in here yucking my yums, and I won't have it.
I am not a completionist, but it's funny because I say this, but trophies do have a chokehold on me where I was texting Yami and Yami was like, oh, we're going to play Escape Academy. It's on Game Pass. And I was like, do you want to play on PlayStation actually? So I can get the trophies. I don't know what it is. Even though I don't care about them, I do care about them. And you say it's a good platinum, and me and Yami platinum Operation Tango.
Operation Tango.
Yeah. And so there's that, and she's the one who's like, she's down to talk to all the people. I don't even know if that's a trophy. I assume it is to talk to all the people.
Yeah, there's a bunch of side quests there. Yeah.
So like as soon as we finish any of the puzzles, she's going around talking to people, and I'm eating my Taco Bell that I DoorDashed earlier, and just skipping through the dialogue sequences as she does everything. And I think there's a good chance that is the next platinum. If not, Last of Us came out in 2013. The remastered Last of Us came out probably in 2014. I actually don't remember. And I remember trying to platinum The Last of Us, and I never got to because I missed one collectible, and then there's also the online stuff. That said, Last of Us Part 1 comes out, and I think this could be my chance for redemption when that comes out in September. And so I'm not saying I'm going to. I will say that I will possibly consider it when it comes out.
It's always hard when you don't know what the trophy list is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the thing. They learned a lot of lessons since Last of Us Part 1. Not the new one, but the old one, of what a trophy list should look like. You know what I mean? That's why, Janet, when you're talking shit about the Uncharted trophies, I assumed you're talking about the old ones, because Uncharted 4 trophy list is great compared to what the Uncharted trophy lists were before. And so you have to hope, that Last of Us Part 1's trophy list is dynamite. That is just
I feel
normal.
like it has to. That's like the floor level. Like that's more than Joel crawling. Joel can crawl, he could walk, he could dance, he can moonwalk. I just want he can do whatever he wants, man. He's a grown man, you know? Like go ahead, live his life.
This leads to mine as well then, of like what my next platinum would be, right? I think you can look here and you can have backlog season, all these things. And granted, we're not in right now. There's a million games to play right now. But I can look back, and as I paged through PSN profiles for myself, right? Eventually I'm going to platinum Horizon. But it is like, just like Janet, when am I going to sit down and dedicate the time to it? You have to just make the time for it and be in the mood for that. And I haven't been in the mood for it. I look at Unpacking, which I know is an easy platinum. But again, I burned out on that game. I didn't really enjoy it the way people did. I look at Lake, which is a game I truly enjoy but need to get back to. And I know that's an easy platinum. But I wouldn't say those will be the next platinums. And so what gets interesting for me then is if I'm looking ahead at what's the next guaranteed platinum. You can never guarantee a platinum. Because I'll tell you many times in my career, I've guaranteed a platinum, whether it be Metal Gear Solid 5, whether it be Persona 4, Persona 4, right? It just doesn't happen that way. So, will it happen? I don't know, and it's a big question. I would like to think the next guaranteed platinum you would see from me is Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. But the problem there is, of course, that it's Ilphonic, a developer I truly enjoy despite all the little problems and foibles with their games. And their Predator trophy list fucking sucks. Their Friday the 13th trophy list fucking sucks. I didn't play Arcadegeddon Blessing. How is that trophy list?
I didn't even look at it, if I'm being honest.
Me neither.
Yeah. I mean, there was no way in hell.
I feel like that one's going to get dicey. I feel like that one is prone to being dicey because online multiplayer games always get kind of funky with their trophies because they're so like, they're such a big, like they're games that have a lot of hours, so I feel like I wouldn't trust that one to be like
this is
super
the arcade again. The thing about it for this one though is that, remember, I'm in Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. They've heard me talk about their games for years, and they have had conversations with me and apologized for the trophy lists. So the hope would be that they would just grow up, let me see the trophies ahead of time for the game I'm in, and tell them if these are good or bad, and then there we go.
What they're going to do is they're going to put a really bad trophy in there, and they're going to name it after you.
Don't put that out there, Janet. Don't put that kind of power out there.
It's already out there. It's too late. We could edit it in post, but we're not going to.
No, we barely edit anything. I screwed up the very beginning of the show. We cut that. That's easy. That has the front. You know what I mean? You screw up the intro beyond the video, too late. It's in the show. That's the show. That's how the show's going.
So I assume you guys are also going to platinum Last of Us, right?
I want to. If
that's my hope, but again, I
ain't doing no hard difficulty. I don't want to do that. I mean,
that's the one thing is like they can't do the grounded difficulty trophy. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Shit.
As long as they don't have that, I think I'd be fine.
The thing about it again is like Naughty Dog come so far with accessibility, and trophies have gotten so involved in the accessibility conversation with good reason, right? Of like so many people being like, hey, there's plenty of people like me that are like, I don't want to play a game that way, and there's other people like, I literally can't play a game that way, so you're excluding me by doing it, so don't do that.
And you think that involves grounded? Like, do you think they would?
I think so. I feel like
that's why Last of Us Part 2 didn't have it, right?
Difficulty trophies are so dated. I think it's that's why, to throw it back to before, Kena was such a surprise that they had difficulty-related trophies because it feels so antiquated. Though granted, a lot of the design of Kena also felt antiquated, so maybe that's like the vibes they're going for.
PS2 game you've ever played.
Not even trying to be rude, it had a very old school vibe. So maybe they were like, we're all in on like that old school energy.
Yeah.
But that's why that was so shocking, because I'm like, who does a difficulty trophy in the modern era? It just seems, even if you want hard things, usually you see them baked into like more organic challenges than just changing a setting on your game. But
I think PlayStation's done such a good job, first party wise, of trophy lists lately.
Yeah.
When you look at something like, and I'm sorry that I have to eat a lozenge in the middle of this, but I hate that clicky sound if you're an audio listener. I'm trying not to, but I want to make sure I can talk through this episode. I have COVID. The what they've done with Ghost,
Careful,
what they
Bless.
did with what?
I said, careful, Bless. He's the last PS I Love You host.
COVID is like it for the last maybe month and a half. COVID has been it following me, where every single person I know in my life is getting it, and like every other day, I swear to God, I get a text that's like, "Hey, you should test yourself. I got COVID. We hung out like last week," and I'm like, "Fuck." And I've been negative. I've been healthy. I've been feeling great, but at some point, I'm gonna get it. Like it is inevitable at this point.
And then this new strand's like super communicable apparently. So everybody take
care
of yourself.
California's getting screwed right now.
Contagious. Like everyone I know that had not gotten it for years has all like gotten it. So it's rough. Stay safe.
Stay healthy.
But anyways, yeah, I hope Last of Us one of them. I think that first parties have seen oh, hey, this is a great way to do this, and people actually care about this and they respond to it. The same way accessibility has become such a thing, right? With what Last of Us did, see that trickle down to Ratchet and Clank and so on and so forth, and even Returnal doubling back to put stuff like that in their game and make it better for people.
Yeah, I agree with that, and so I'm looking forward to the trophy list. I'm with you guys. I hope that it's going to be good, and I would think that is going to be good, and if that's the case, I could see it popping up as my next platinum. But
Same.
also, I can see myself getting 90% of the way there and dropping it like I've been doing all year. But we'll see.
See, that's the thing where it's like, I enjoyed Escape Academy so much. I played it on Steam for review. That's all they had available. That, especially now that you know the puzzle solutions, I know I can go through and get the trophies super simple. I know I could platinum that probably really quickly. But then it's just that thing of like, do I really want to, with my limited game time, go back to something I've already played just to get the trophies?
Right.
And, people said being a dad would change you, and they were right that it just took away a lot of time to where I can't bullshit as much. And then you guys guilted me about ZJ the Ball, and now I can't go get those easy platinums either. So
good.
Then I'm making you play that Radiohead thing.
God damn it, Jane.
We're really just like
has he not played it
helping
yet?
you.
No, I played it. No, she made me play it, right?
Yeah.
Walking
with
around
this limited time, I'm like, you're gonna have to walk into this song that you've never heard before. It hits more if you are a fan of Radiohead, and I do throw that out there. But yes,
PlayStation or Epic, I forget who made that experience. Somebody hit up Lupe Fiasco to do a Lupe Fiasco version. I've been listening to a lot of Lupe Fiasco recently because Roger started listening to Lupe, and I think Lupe would make a great one of those. Give me a Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor video game where I walk around a big Food and Liquor and listen to his songs. Thank you very much.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, right?
I'd be down for that. Mm-hmm.
Time for topic of the show. Stray's out, everybody, and it's a hit. It's got an 84 on Metacritic. Janet, what the fuck's wrong with me and Blessing? We each gave it a 3 out of 5 and thought it was just a good cat sim, but not a great game. I know you totally vibed with it because you're in Big Cat's pocket. What did we miss? What's wrong with us?
I think you guys hate cats. But I think it's interesting talking to y'all about this. Like, I had been looking forward to sitting with y'all on content to talk about this game, because as soon as I finished it, I first texted Greg, I think was my first message. And I was like, Stray, right? Like, I forgot how I worded it, but I was like, oh man, right? And you're like,
it's Sunday.
Oh, no.
It's we recorded that review at 2:00, so it's 1:45. I'm sitting down, I'm settling, I'm getting all my notes ready to record the games cast. And Janet, Stray though, right? And I'm like, oh no, I didn't like it. And you're like, what?
And then I was like, I gotta know, what does Blessing Adeoye Jr. think of this? So then I texted him, I think word for word, Stray though. So I just hit up the people, put Stray though and see like how they react. And then he similarly was like kind of lukewarm, and I'm like, all right, well, actually, I think he didn't give me an answer at first, Bless. You can look it up. But I was like, I need the spoilers for the games cast, Bless. I know you're on it. I gotta know what you think. And similar criticisms. I will say, to your guys' point, I acknowledge a lot of the things that you guys didn't like about it or thought were kind of weak points in terms of, the puzzles not being super elaborate, and it's kind of a going through the motions game. But for me, I think that very much is the game it intends to be and what it's looking to execute on, which is it's power fantasy, but if cat, essentially the game. So it's I've heard other people describe it as walking sim plus, right? Where it's a game about moving around through space, enjoying the feel of that, checking out things, experimenting with the environment. And for me, the story, the puzzles, all of that other stuff was just ways to kind of add structure and incentive to the stuff I was already doing. I'm already walking around. I'm already scratching at stuff. So sure, the puzzles are really simple. And a lot of times I solved, like I wrote in my review on Pen to Pixels, a lot of times I solved the stuff before I was told I had to do it, right? It'd be like, oh, you need this. Yep. It's clear this one NPC needs an item. And I'm like, oh, I already have it. And the reason I had it is because I was doing everything. I was out there already kind of completionist running this because I liked being the cat, looking around the environment, meowing at everything, scratching stuff, jumping around. I think the magnetized jump like feels so good, even though it's not challenging. So like for me, that's why this is like, I gave it a 4 out of 5 for great on like my scale, because I think it totally nails what it intends to do, while also having enough with the puzzles, with the systems, having the drone friend, that there's more to this than it is just a cute cat game. I do think a lot of people that didn't like this game that much were like, it's just because I don't like love cats that much. And there is a layer to that, though, too, because for me, I love my cat to no end, and I love watching my cat do nothing. I could look at, other than when Bruce is screaming in the morning, I could look at my cat. She'll be sitting there on the sofa like she is all fucking day. And I'm like, oh man, I love Bruce. And my brother loves Bruce too, but he's like, why? She doesn't do anything. I'm like, are you kidding? She's fucking awesome. And this is like that, but 10x, because this cat does do stuff and I'm controlling it. So I'm both the observer and the active participant in this cat's interactions. It's just a blast and a half. I had very little like gripes with the game overall. I think it just totally nails what it intended to do. But yeah, why do you guys hate cats? Well, like obviously it didn't hit for y'all. So what was?
They're not as loving as dogs. That's why.
But that's what was cool. You know, and it was funny too because Greg.
That's a joke, by the way. I love cats.
No, but Greg, you're not wrong. Like that's true. Like Greg had pointed out too when we were messaging before y'all did Gamescast. But he's like, I don't know, it didn't hit for me. Like the story stuff, the cat shows no like fucking emotion. I'm like, of course not. It's a cat. I get, I said this on MinMax too. I get shot right now. Bruce is going to be upset because there's a loud noise. She is not going to really register that I am lying there dead because she's a cat. That's how she is.
Here's my problem, because you're misrepresenting my point, but I love and appreciate everything you said before that. All right. Is the fact that you are still spot on. Again, like what I said in the review. Yes. End of statement. We'll move on to the next topic.
How can both be true if we both have different conclusions? Welcome to reviews.
It is a great cat simulator. And again, I applaud it and think it looks great, period. But the animation of the cat is great. Jumping up there and knocking stuff over as the cat. I do like the simplified, just even hold X and automatically jump to things and go, in a road kind of thing. I love all that. It's when you get in there and you're like, I'm like, the cat isn't showing emotion. You're like, yeah, it's a cat. I'm like, exactly. So why are they trying to pin this emotional story on it? Like, that's where there's this disconnect of like, again, like, I don't know if you watched our entire review or whatever, if it's just based off our comments we had privately, but like they have this, tug at your heartstrings moment at the end of the game, of course, obviously. And when this, robot gives you its speech or whatever, the cat, acts sad all of a sudden. And it's just like, you have not acted sad this entire game. You got hurt in the very beginning, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a really cool moment. No, you're just fine. Oh, okay. I thought maybe a robot would save you.
He was limping a little.
For like 2 seconds. Then you fall down, you get back up, and you're 100% fine. And then throughout the thing, like, the robots keep telling you. They don't. The cat doesn't show any of its own thing. So the robot is constantly like, you're an outsider. You need to get back up top. That's what you want. You want to get out of here, blah, blah. And then, no, I'm the cat, and I'm totally content to live in your robot world and knock shit down and fuck up your dominoes game and sleep on every bed I run into. Like, they should have leaned into that, I feel. So when we get to the end and they try to give you this emotional climax of this whole thing of this, here's this character that you probably I'm like, I thought everything was so telegraphed. Every interaction with these robots where I was like, the son needs to find his father, and they come out and and I'm just like, okay. And then the thing at the end, I'm like, and literally, I think I don't know. I think I texted you this, but I've said it several times. Like, right, of like, after that final speech, what I wanted was the camera to look at the cat to look at the robot, look at the camera, blink, and walk away. Have no emotion. Just be a cat about it. You're a fucking cat. You know, you wanted to get out apparently, or now you are. Like, it'd be cooler, I think, if it was like this. I always fuck this up. This Rube Goldberg machine or whatever. I'm fucked that up, didn't I?
Yeah,
Whatever. Of like perpetual motion where the cat is just being pushed along. It's doing things that are making the next thing happen, but it's not really what it's trying to do. Instead, they give you all the freedom and fuck it attitude of a cat, but then also try to be like, no, but you want this and you need this and this is what it's all about. I'm like, it can't be both ways. And that for me, that's like the narrative dissonance that takes me out of the adventure, where I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, I think I had a similar thing where coming off of it, I didn't feel that tangible connection to the game. It's funny enough, I mentioned at the top that I was triple fisting reviews these last few weeks, and for me that was through Stray, As Dusk Falls, and Live Alive. Funny enough, like exclusives on each console, and you know, one of those games got a 3 out of 5 for me, another one of those games got a 4 out of 5, and another one of those games got a 5 out of 5. And I think what sums that up for me in terms of how those different games got different scores for me, a lot of it is the lasting effect that I feel like those games had, where sure. Coming off Live Alive, that was the one that got a 5 out of 5 for me. I finished that game and I was like, I'm gonna think about this game forever. I fucking love these characters. I fucking love this story. With As Dusk Falls, I was similar, right? Maybe not as strongly as Live Alive, but I was also like, damn, what a ride that was. Man, I love the characters. Man, I really enjoyed the story. And for Stray, I think the cat being the main character and it being this thing of the cat does have this agency and is this central part of the story. The cat is trying to get out, right? Like that is what the game and the story is about. And then you have these side characters, these side rollouts, and these civilizations that you're going through and like you're existing through. But like the central like the thing pushing you forward is the fact that this cat needs to get out. I never felt any urgency in the cat getting out. I was just like, all right, yeah, this cat is trying to get out, and like he's meeting these characters, but like these characters don't know the cat. They don't really fuck with the cat. The cat is just like, and the cat doesn't fuck with these people. And yeah, that's cats.
that's cat culture.
That is cats.
I do get the idea of it there being that disconnect, Greg, because I don't think you're wrong on that. But like for me, the dissonance didn't bother me because I feel like it was clearly set up along the way of like we're sort of alone together in this world, with the exception of B12, the little drone buddy you have, like. That little drone guy has like a connection to the cat, or like forms a connection over time where you can tell there's a relationship, at least from one direction. But that kind of, I mean, that's like, is that not my relationship with my own cat? Where I'll talk to Bruce and like Bruce means the world to me. And to me, Bruce is or in Bruce's perspective, I'm someone that gives attention and maybe feeds her. Yeah. That's kind of the thing, you know, and not that there isn't love there, because I think there is. And like, and I can kind of take it either way on if the cat was more emotional, too emotional. I kind of like the sort of muted level of emotions, like even just the initial fall, right? Like the other cats in the cat family, because spoilers, you're alone, right? So when you start out with those cats, you lose them pretty quickly. They're not like crying, looking at you fall. They just kind of look at you and they're like processing it. And for me, it's funny that you say like, oh, you got to the ending. And again, we're not going to spoil it, but that there's this little like emotional moment. And you're like, whatever. That honestly hit me, and it's because I love my cat. But it's like, yeah, like I felt that, where it's like this idea of this drone creature, like robot guy, having a connection with this cat. And maybe that connection is a little bit one-sided, but that doesn't make it less real, because that is the relationship you would have with an animal. But even all that aside, for me, the story stuff, it takes very much a backseat to the being in the environment and it feeling good to like move through space in this game. Not to mention all the other things I think it does super well, like the lighting, the look of it. I love the sound design of this game. This is my sound design game of the year right now, in terms of those like Game Award pillars where they're like, what had the best sound design? And everyone's like, oh my God, what have I been listening to the whole year? Stray is #1 for sound design for me, because I think they just do such a good job with it. Yeah, so I vibed with all this, and it had more layers than I thought it would. Honestly, when they shut off this game, I'm like, cool, I'm gonna be a cat, I'm gonna be hanging out. I think the diversity in some of the areas, while they're not all equal, I think, surprised me. Like you go through some of those tunnels and I'm like, whoa, we got some trippy stuff going on here, again, without getting into spoilers. So yeah, I mean, I had a great time from the front to the back of this game. It was awesome.
Well, I want to continue on with one of the points I was making, right, in terms of like the story and the connection I had to it afterwards. Because for me, talking about the cat, I think what's interesting is that the cat is basically a silent protagonist, right? The cat is just a character that doesn't speak, that doesn't have too much. I won't even say it doesn't have too much personality, as the personality of a cat. And with that, I think it brings me back to playing Bloodborne, and Bloodborne was a game that clicked with me once I realized that the game was less about the character I was playing as and more about the world itself and what's gone on in the world, and taking in the stories and playing more of a role of an archaeologist and like to uncovering the happenings here, as opposed to being this story that is centered around a main character. And Bloodborne for me is like maybe the goat of doing that, right? Going through a world, seeing how the world is laid out, seeing the locations of certain NPCs lying on the ground dead, like seeing the positioning of the bodies, seeing a creature come out of a specific place, and that in its by itself telling a story of what went down in this area.
Sure.
I think a lot of that stuff is what I want from a game that is this exploration driven game with a silent protagonist. And for me, the robots and the world didn't give that to me. The world did give me a great world with great atmosphere and great presentation. It is a gorgeous game, and I think, talking about end of the year awards, if there's an award for most stylish or best looking game, I think Stray would be up there for me for sure, because I think it is gorgeous in all of its moments. But when it comes to story, it reminds me of, talking to the robots remind me a bit of and this might be taking it too far, but I'll use the example anyway. When Fallout 76 came out and there were no human NPCs and it was all terminals, of course the robots have more personality than that. They do a good job with the art design of giving these robots their unique qualities, whether it's the cable hair or whether it's like a scarf or whatever cool thing that you add to these robots, the facial expressions, the breakdancing, all that stuff that gives them character. But I never felt like that was pushed enough to where I truly felt the character of any of these robots. Like, they still felt mad basic to me, aside from their basic qualities of, oh, he's a breakdancer, oh, she's a salesperson, oh, this person's old, oh, this person's young. I think I wanted a little bit more from that out of the characterization, and then also a story of the world that I would have thought was lasting and would have stuck with me.
100% on all that too. Where I think I think voice acting would have helped the robots a bit. I know they're speaking another language, which is why B12's there. Exactly. And that's fine or whatever, but it's back to Blessing's point of like, other than B12, who's with you the entire game, right? That you meet and is your backpack droid or whatever. Like, I can't tell you any of the robots' names. Like, I similar, I can tell you the father and son, and yeah, okay, well, that
grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Boom.
grandma.
One too many to count.
The shopkeep. Yeah,
I feel like someone's named Zeke somewhere.
And it's just like, okay, so they kind of, even though they all had like, I felt like, like the mad scientist one kind of reminded me of like Christopher Lloyd, right? Like from Back to the Future. But it's like, that's how I remember these things. And it's this weird, like, all right, well, whatever. That's how it was. And it's just, that's why, especially for a short game, I feel like it just went by. And it's like back to Blessing's point, like the other things I've been playing for review, like I haven't thought about Stray since I put down the controller for Stray. Like it did not resonate with me, which sucks, but I'm glad it's resonated for other people. And speaking of, Marty writes in to patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames and says, is Stray going to be worth upgrading to PlayStation Extra or PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium? Does Stray need to be good and or succeed to get more day one games like this on the PlayStation Plus tiers? Blessing, is it worth upgrading?
I think if it sounds like your kind of game, then yes. And I think this is only going to be the first of hopefully future day one titles that are on PlayStation Plus Extra. I look at games like Rollerdrome isn't going to be on PlayStation Plus Extra, but I would think that those types of games would be. I know that game is getting a trial version as part of PlayStation Plus Premium, I want to say. There's too many things in too many tiers. But yeah, if you want to play trial of that game, you can get it there. But I think it would be I think it would be smart for PlayStation to double down on getting day one titles and day one indies into the service. And I think Stray could be the start of that. And if Stray is a game that looks like it's for you, then for sure. Like, one of the things that I forget if I mentioned during the review or not, but like, even though for me the game got a 3 out of 5, I think it's an okay video game. I do one of the things that as I was playing the game immediately identified is that people are going to like it. People are going to have a good time with it because it is what it is, right? Like, it is gorgeous. It is an interesting world, interesting atmosphere, and there aren't too many games where you can go and play as a accurate cat. Like, this is the most cat-ass cat I've ever played as in a video game, and it captures that very well. And if you're somebody who cares about that, or cares about cats, or cares about, like, these kinds of games in general, I do think it's worth playing and worth upgrading for.
even being right there with you on a 3 out of 5, I think it's worth it for sure. Like we're talking about $5, right? Like that this is the inherent value of an Xbox Game Pass or a PlayStation Plus Extra. The idea that you can jump in and try these games way cheaper than buying it for full retail. Because what, it's $30, $29.99, I believe. Somebody fact check me. Okay, yeah. If you were just to buy it straight up, so why not do this and get the added benefits? Ryan Povala Higgins is back from his timeout and wrote in the chat, Stray is fine. I'm glad I didn't buy it. Paid a small fee to upgrade my PlayStation Plus until November, and I got my worth out of it with Stray. So that's the whole thing. He's got it through November. It feels he got his $5 worth out of it, and probably a little bit more, but got his money's worth out of it, let alone what he's going to get beyond that, right, Janet?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it if you're interested in it, but also if you want to be able to buy your way out of having to make decisions, which is what really subscription services offer. It's like, hey, why don't you tell me, PlayStation, what games I should be paying attention to and what games are good? That's not to say that PlayStation always nails it there. And also, they can't. I mean, there's so many different tastes and perceptions, even among the three of us, even though we're all like, it's okay to great, right? It's a generally, it's not negative, but we have different feelings on it, and there'll be different things that speak to people. Again, my infamous not downloading a lot of stuff, I'm like, I don't care. But the reason I keep it, besides the fact that I work here and need to keep up with this stuff, is because every now and then they're going to throw in an Operation Tango. They're going to throw in something that I do care about. And now I don't have to play that game every time of, do I want to pay for it? And then you're also playing the game of, okay, let's say we don't upgrade to PS Extra and instead you buy Stray. Now you have to kind of hope there isn't something else. Like you're playing that math game and it gets really complicated really fast. I think if you're someone that is regularly into playing recently released indies, I feel like it's pretty safe to say that PS Extra is going to be fulfilling that void in a way that PS Plus base, which is called Essential, used to do. So I think it is worth the upgrade for that reason. Now, that being said, if you look at this and you're like, I'm not that excited about it, I would just wait until there's a game on Extra that you do want, and then get the 1 year, and then just kind of ride through it that way, because that'll probably be the easiest way to go about it. But yeah, generally, it's critically acclaimed. It had hype to it. It's a good get for PlayStation for that reason. It is gravy that this actually did deliver in terms of general consensus.
And I think, jumping on and continuing that conversation, Janet, one of the things you brought to our attention was a tweet from Zuby Tech. If we can bring that up, Raj. Zuby Tech put out a graphic and tweeted, PlayStation indies have found a new home and huge success. PlayStation indies have found a new home and huge success on PlayStation 5. Tremendous amount of work and congratulations to all involved. And then Shuhei Yoshida was chiming in. I think he might have tagged the rest of the indie team. But if you're an audio listener, the graphic we're looking at is a list, obviously a showcase of PlayStation 5 games and their Metacritics, right? So you have the Pathless at 77, Bugsnax at 75, Chicory 87, Fist at 8, or F.I.S.
Fist Forge and Shadow Torch
at 80, Kenna at 81, Solar Ash at 77, Heavenly Bodies at 75, Sifu at 81, and then Stray at 84. Shuhei had responded like, thank you, we're working hard over here. And what's interesting is, while a great look at it, there's so many other partnerships PlayStation has had for this, including Spelunky 2, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Salt and Sanctuary, Arcade Again had stuff. Then there's the VR stuff, No Man's Sky, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2, Moss 2. Like there's a whole bunch. I guess it is PlayStation VR 2 stuff that's still coming, right? That's still on the map of what's going on here. And then to look ahead at what's next for PlayStation these they've talked about, right? You're talking about Little Devil Inside, Oxenfree 2, Samurai Gun 2, Roller Drome, Season, Chia, I can never say that. Chia. Inscription, Humanity, Nor, and Goodbye Volcano High. Like, there's so much stuff still to come. Sorry, I'm dying over here. So the question then becomes like, Blessing, are we in a golden era for PlayStation indies?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think with what you just read through, right, looking at the advertised indies, I do think that's a really good run, especially because a lot of these did come out, I believe, partially exclusive on PlayStation to some extent. Like Bugsnax launched exclusively. I think Pathless launched exclusively when it was out during the PlayStation 5 launch. Stray obviously is exclusive. Sifu's exclusive. Like a lot of those big partnerships that they're making, I think are good. And right now, that team, I would say, has a pretty good eye for indies. Getting Kana, getting Sifu, getting Stray, Chicory. I forget if that was exclusive or not, but I know.
I think all this stuff was. This is not.
Oh, really?
This is actually backed up of like at the time this was exclusive to PlayStation launch.
I didn't realize.
And we're talking clearly about Xbox, not PC stuff.
Yeah, not PC. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Well, yeah, these are a lot of good gets, and I think this team has a very good eye for the games that are coming out. And so I think for that, we're in a really good era. I will say that I think indie wide, I remember I want to say it was like a year ago actually, from around this time, where we were talking about an article that was about PlayStation and how they treat indies, and how it's very difficult for indies to get like good placement on the PlayStation Store. PlayStation often promotes PlayStation blog as the place for you to like get the word for your indie out there, but PlayStation often maybe like overrates the reach and the impact of PlayStation.
This
blogs.
Seems like a conversation on this very show not too long ago of these. Hey, it's a Thursday morning. We're gonna put up 7 indie games today, and they'll be hyperlinked. Go get them.
Yeah, like PlayStation loves doing that type of thing, and I think there's a lot of work still left to be done for PlayStation with their indies that that will allow for even more of them to come to the platform. I am grateful that we have these ones on the platform, but games like Hades didn't launch on PlayStation, right? That launched on Switch and PC. I'm not gonna go through the list now, but like there's a list of iconic, like Inscription, iconic indies that we've gotten over the years that would launch on Xbox or Switch or PC that wouldn't launch on PlayStation. And it seems like a lot of the talk around that is the fact that like PlayStation isn't treating these games as well, or making these games making it as approachable for the devs to get these games on the platform.
Well, the thing is, what I think's crazy about it, right, is that it's a seller's market. The question I asked, is it a golden era for PlayStation indies? We can make cases, you can compare portfolios, but really what it comes down to is I think it is a golden era for indies. Is the fact that Nintendo and Xbox and PlayStation are all opening the checkbook to try to get indies to come to them, and then they go, "Oh, I don't care. Go to whatever PC you want." And then Epic opens their checkbook and is like, "Put it exclusively on our store." And it's like you're seeing indie development be able to thrive in a way that is not unheard of. Obviously, indie games have been around my entire career, and for a long time, I've been able to see them grow. But thrive in a way that you're able to, before you ever put one copy up for pre-order, you've already made the game a hit or a success. You've already paid your bills, which is insane and awesome and so much better than the old days of, oh man, I mortgaged my house to do this. I'm thinking about Cuphead, right? Like all these different things to make your dream happen. Like the dream can happen now, and it is happening on so many different platforms. And it's like a bumper crop all the time of games that are out there that are doing amazing. And then even when the exclusivity lifts, what I'm always amazed by is the fact that, take Late, for example, a game Jen and I adore, right? That was able to launch on Xbox and PC, right? And then come to PlayStation and still have an impact on PlayStation. Inscription is going to have an impact on PlayStation. Like it is this weird thing where it really is, if you didn't play it on PC or whatever, or wherever it initially came from, because for the Lake example, that was Xbox. It will come to another platform, and it will find a new audience, and it will have another chance at life, and it will find new audience members, and that's awesome.
Janet, is it a golden age?
I'd have to, I guess if we're thinking of golden era, I'd want to think more about what's come before. But I think to Greg's point, it's almost an unfair comparison either way, because indies have grown over time and increased in popularity, and we've seen like success happen, and it's just not how it used to be. And in general, like the industry moves just so fast with even whether it's the way we consume games or the way we make games, like the gap from when games first hit the scene to now is ridiculous. I can look at what my dad played and look at what I play now, and like granted it still might be Pac-Man, but it's like in a very different way. So yeah, definitely a lot of growth in that space. I think it's a good era for PlayStation indies. I still feel like, again, golden, we can think about it, is it us competing with ourselves or is it us competing with the general market? I do feel like anecdotally, and for me as a player, when I kind of entered this gen/half gen with the Switch, right, kind of made that jump, the Switch was my indie machine, and now I'm like more in on PlayStation a little bit, but at the same time, I look across, and there are a lot of indies that hit Game Pass that I'm like, oh man, I wish we, as far as wanting PlayStation to do well, because again, I play everywhere, everything, so I'm not that crazily invested in, oh my God, if there's no SKU on PlayStation, I'm not going to touch it. That's not the case for me. But as someone that, is on the show with y'all talking about PlayStation and wanting PlayStation to succeed, it's a little bit of an L when I see like, oh, this is a dope indie, but that conversation is going to be on Xbox. And I'm constantly, I do a stream every Friday where I'm trying to play whatever the hot release is. Sometimes it's AAA, a lot of times it's indie. And the amount of times that I've lugged this Xbox back here because Citizen Sleeper's there, because whatever's that, like so often I feel like PlayStation misses those. But to this infographics point and highlighting these, I think there have been a lot of wins. And one thing that I think is really cool about PlayStation indies is that while maybe sometimes it can feel like there's not as much there as maybe other platforms or spaces, the stuff that is there hits stupidly hard. I mean, Chicory was one of my favorite games of the year last year. Yeah. Sifu will probably be in my top 10. Not Sifu, Stray will probably be my top 10. Sifu I gotta go back to because of the difficulty.
Sifu will be in my top 10.
Sifu I gotta go back to because of the thing, it took a while to get that difficulty rolled out. But Sifu I did respect a lot when the original storm of review season hit, and it was Sifu on the side between Horizon and Dying Light 2, and I'm like, it was a lot. But there are some really fire games there. Kana maybe isn't quite that pedigree, but I know like we really enjoyed it over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good game.
That's the thing is you go through this, it's crazy to me to look at this infographic and have that of like, oh, well, yeah, Chicory. Oh, Bug Snacks. And then I know
that Bug Snacks is a 75 also. I feel like it would have been, which like that's the other thing too. Like some of these are not crazily impressive on the Metacritic, but I loved Bug Snacks. I'm mad at
the Pathless Metacritic. I think is criminally low. That game was fucking off the chain.
Criminally is a little strong for me, but I see what you mean. I feel like that game does not get enough love.
Criminally, I said it.
It's like 3 points away from where I would want to have it, but I get what you mean. Like I feel like people slept on the Pathless. So what if all the
I had no idea Chicory was an 87. That's outrageous. I mean, don't get me wrong. I played it and I enjoyed it, but I mean, like you talk about a Metacritic and how hard it is to get I would say above 83, honestly. Yeah. But like the fact they were there, I wonder how many people reviewed it. Not that matters in terms of, but that's usually how you can get a better Metacritic. Yeah,
for sure. I feel like there were a good amount of people reviewing it, but what's still to me more impressive in a way is the amount, not that, well, I feel like this probably happens to some degree, right? Like people are human and humans have errors. Like I think it's easy to, quote unquote, easy to like say an indie darling is an indie darling when the world already decided it. There were so many reviewers that I knew off the cuff, no one knew what Chicory was, no one played it, that were like, I'm telling you right now, I'm about to drop a review that's for a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. And it was like, oh man. And that was like, they didn't have anyone to like, there was no, oh, we're saying it because everyone agreed. Like that was out the gate. There were so many reviewers that hit that game with a 9 or higher. And I mean, as they should. Chicory's a freaking fantastic game. And even like Solar Ash, I know, well, Bless, you've reviewed Solar Ash. What'd you give it again? I forgot.
That was before we were doing scores, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. Other than that bug you had at the end. But I'm enjoying Solar Ash. Other than the
bug that wiped my save.
Quite a bit. Heavenly Bodies, I'm not done with that because I don't know, Isaiah doesn't want to play it, even though I left it installed. But I like Heavenly Bodies a lot. I shouted out that game, I think when we were doing the list, Blessing, back when it was just you and me, the golden era of PS I Love You, when it was just me and Bless.
Yeah, but building the list.
Lots of good memories here. Like, I'm looking at this, and I'm not gonna lie, Fist, I know some people that like Fist. I haven't played it yet. Maybe I would like that one too.
Like, looking forward to it until like it came out. I think other games were out, and I never got around to it. But that was when I was keeping an eye on. It looks cool, and I think to your point, right? You're talking about the indies that they're publishing. Or not publishing, but the indies that they're promoting on the platform hitting. I do think that I do appreciate and curious. The thing I'm also curious about when it comes to PlayStation indies is the fact that I think there tends to be a quality, both in terms of how good the games are when they come out usually, but then also in terms of budget and production that exists within PlayStation indies, where a lot of these games almost sit at like AA, like almost AA. Yeah. Like Chicory is an indie game, but I look at the Pathless, and when you look at the Pathless, that game is gorgeous. Like that is a 3D game, right? Like in terms of like 3D graphics, you guys get what I mean, right? Like third person puzzle game exploration with a world that is vast and like landmass and has a lot to do. That game looks and plays incredibly. Going through, right? Kana is another one that was one of the best looking games of that year. It is a gorgeous
same thing for Sifu, same thing for Stray. And I think back to the thing of like, are we in a golden age for indies period, let alone PlayStation indies? Janet, you said it's kind of an unfair thing to judge, right? Or like, and you're right. And I think that's part of it. But I mean, I would say, and in 5 years, hopefully we will be as well. But part of it is the fact that you look at these box arts of games and like, for me to sit here and compare this to Geometry Wars and Championship Sprint and Super Rub-a-Dub and all the other fucking indies that were coming out on, you know what I mean? The old days of Xbox Live and PS, or the PlayStation Store, when the PlayStation Store was just a web browser on the PlayStation 3 that you went through. Like, it's ridiculous to sit here and be like, these are, and I this is something I haven't probably used in nearly a decade. These are real ass games, right? These are full games. These aren't, oh, it's going to be indie game of the year. Oh, it's going to be in the conversation for indie. It's great for a downloadable game. Like, we're talking about all these games being amazing. Like Sifu like, is going to be on Blessing's list. Stray is going to be on your list. Like, that's fucking outrageous and awesome and great.
Yeah,
if indie was in our vocabulary, right? I think you give anybody Stray and they just go, oh, it's a video game. Like, oh, this is a great like AAA. Sure. Maybe they don't think AAA, but they think like, oh, it's a full video game. If you gave me Sifu when I was a kid, I would have played. I mean, Sifu honestly looks better than anything I played when I was a kid. But even still, right? I would have been like, oh, this is a video game. This is a full ass thing. But sorry, Jane, I cut you off.
No, it's all good. I was just gonna echo that. These games, despite them all like being indie games, they're all very different games. So I think there's also like a great breadth in this collection that we're looking at. But also, I think it's wild that they're so different, have a range of Metacritic scores. But I like every single one of these games. Like, and I've beaten almost all of these games. The only one that I don't have anything to say on is Fist, because I literally haven't played it, so I cannot form an opinion on it. But everything else, like, I played and enjoyed, which is just like, I don't know. I think that also speaks to the breadth of the work, and as well as the quality of the work. So yeah, like looking at this, it does make me excited for what's to come, and I'm enjoying the indies that they're putting out, and hopefully they'll be, beefing up like PlayStation Extra as well. And I think it's funny to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it's doing great, while we also are like, it could be better, because I think both can totally be true and should be true. I think even if I don't know, if PlayStation somehow did everything we ever wanted, we would just think of more things we'd want, and I think it's part of wanting
folders.
I mean, some of it is easier than other things that you guys named, but yes, like that is to me part of both being, looking at PlayStation for everything that it is, which is also including the things that it isn't. So I think it's fine to sit here and like praise these games and say that there's some fire stuff, but it's also fine to look over and say, okay, how can we get more? How do I want more? And what ways can they like, take Hades off that PlayStation Indies like page on their website and put something that I haven't seen yet or that is less talked about, and kind of create a more core identity? Because I think at this point we know there are PlayStation Indies here. We review them often, talk about them often, but it's like, how do we really make the PlayStation Indie brand like synonymous with being a PlayStation fan in a bigger and better way that both serves the consumer but also works to better support the developers that they also have in their wheelhouse? I
think PlayStation Extra is that angle. I think, you look through this list of stuff that's still coming, Little Devil Inside, and this is, again, very specific PlayStation indie partnerships. Little Devil Inside, Oxenfree 2, Samurai Gun 2, Rollerdrome, Season, Chia, Inscription, Humanity, Noor, and then Goodbye Volcano High. I look at that and I wonder how many of those will be day and date, or how many will have a drastic discount or something to that effect, right? Because it's, as I've always talked about with indies, right? The problem is, and it's what the article was talking about earlier, how do you surface that information to the mainstream? Millions of people have PlayStations in their house. How do you make that make sense to Poe? You know what I mean? When he turns it on to go play Lego Star Wars with his son, how do you get something like Stray in front of him and make it matter? And we've seen that, with the way your home screen pops and all these what's new things. And I think if he's subscribing to PlayStation Plus and there's going to be these things, like this would be the way to do it, of, hey, don't forget this free game. And to Blessing's point, you download it, you turn it on, and you don't go, oh, this is somebody's passion project. You go, oh, this is a video game. I don't know the difference between this, that, and the other. It's just there.
Like, I think about how many TikToks I see of like people modding Sifu and shit, and like that goes out to so many people, and they don't look at that and go, oh, an indie game. They look at that and go, oh, what the fuck is that video game? Like, I want to play that shit. And I think to the original question of, is it a golden age for PlayStation indies? Part of that for me is PlayStation the best place to play indies, or at the very least, like a viable place to play indies compared to even other platforms. And I come down on that too, where I think PlayStation Plus Extra hopefully is that. And I think that's something they've been building up for a while, is in the past couple of years, PlayStation Plus base essential has been pretty incredible in terms of a lot of games coming day and date. Games like Maquette, games like Destruction All Stars, games like Bug Snacks. I know not all of them are hits, but a lot of them have been new, and a lot of them are getting that PlayStation push. And looking at the list of the slate of upcoming games, a lot of these games look like they are going to be good. Like, I don't see any Destruction All Stars here. Maybe if I look closer, no, I don't see any Destruction All Stars here. And like, yeah, like those have PlayStation Extra integration. If they're there day and date, I think that's going to be strong.
We have a question about indies, but we're going to save it for the post show. But we will have to make some hard decisions for a PlayStation sale. Post. But now let me remind you, of course, you can get that post show over on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. You know what else happens on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames? You can write in to be part of the show. You could be a Patreon producer. You could be watching live, just like Omega Buster is, Piano Fish Tank is, my dog Nick 96 is. Of course, you get the show ad free. Of course, you get it with the post show. Of course, you can watch us record the XCast tomorrow, Gamescast next week, all that jazz. But for right now, you're not watching on Patreon. So here's a word from our sponsor.
Shout out to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this episode. I started taking AG1 because I'm not a big pill guy. I don't want to spend a lot of time on extra things, but I wanted to make sure that I was taking care of my health. Now, I've been using it the last couple months and I love it. It doesn't taste like it's super healthy. It has a fun tropical taste that I actually look forward to in the mornings. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focused, and aging. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/kindafunny to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. Shout out to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this episode. When you use the bathroom, you always close the door behind you, right? Well, you don't want random passerbyers looking in on you, so why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Your internet service provider knows every single website you visit. ExpressVPN puts a stop to this. It creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that your online activity can't be seen by anyone. I use ExpressVPN on all my devices, whether it's my phone, my desktop, everything. Anytime I'm using the internet, just because I am trying to stay as safe as possible. The best part is using ExpressVPN is as easy as closing the bathroom door. You just fire up the app, you click one button, and you're protected. It is so easy. It's the biggest button in the world. One click, you're done. So if you're like me and believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself today by visiting expressvpn.com/kindafunny. You can use our link, expressvpn.com/kindafunny, and you can get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny. This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Are people still trying to make plans with you this summer? As if you aren't booked and busy already. But thankfully, MeUndies wants to help make this summer the most comfortable one you will never forget. Because when you're living your best life, the last thing you want to worry about is butt sweat. And I know that from experience. But you know what? MeUndies has always been there to help me. I'm always wearing my MeUndies shirts, my lounge pants, my lounge shorts, my undies themselves, the socks. I'm a MeUndies fanboy. Wouldn't have it any other way. I just absolutely love the soft micro-modal fabric. Find your ultimate summer comfort in sizes extra small all the way up to 4XL. MeUndies has a great offer for all of you out there. For any first-time purchasers, you can get 15% off for a limited time. If you sign up for the free to join MeUndies membership, you get 25% off your first membership item. To get 50% off your order, 25% off your first membership item, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/kindafunny. That's MeUndies.com/kindafunny.
Blessing, what happened this week in PlayStation?
I want to start off with the question: what do we want from Bruce Straley's new studio? I asked this because this last week it was reported from Tom Ivan. I did not record the website, but I'll do that in a second. Tom Ivan wrote about how a former Uncharted and The Last of Us director, Bruce Straley, has started a new studio. Naughty Dog veteran Bruce Straley has announced his return to game development with a new studio called Wildflower Interactive. Straley spent 18 years at Naughty Dog, where he served as co-game director on Uncharted 2, The Last of Us, and Uncharted 4 before stepping away from game development 5 years ago. Quote, "In 2017, I left the industry, not sure if I wanted to make games anymore," he said in a video announcing his new venture. Quote, "But the longer I was away, I kept thinking about this medium and everything yet to be done and everything I wanted to do still. And this idea kept following me. So I grabbed some friends and we started prototyping. And the idea started getting good. It started becoming exciting again. And I realized I need to make this game. But if I'm going to make this game, it means I have to build a team," he continued. Quote, and if I build a team, I have to build a company. And well, if we're going to do that, then we have to do it the right way. It has to be inclusive, equitable, and collaborative, full of big-hearted people that want to grow both professionally and personally. The culture needs to be as iterative as the way we make games, end quote. According to Wildflower's website, the studio is making small-ish, creatively charged, uniquely stylized games that explore the possibilities of the medium. The existing team has worked on the Call of Duty series, The Pathless, Abzu, Astroneer, and Kena Bridge of Spirits. Straley said, quote, "We've got an exciting partner that supports what we're doing and is going to help us reach the broadest audience possible," end quote. And that was from Tom Ivan at VGC who wrote that. Now, I want to start from the end here. Right, Bruce Straley, formerly of Naughty Dog, who made Uncharted, who helped direct Uncharted and The Last of Us, has created a new studio and says that we've got an exciting partner that supports what we're doing and is going to help us reach the broadest audience possible. Are they partnering with PlayStation?
Great question, right? Because this is the kind of shit that people always say.
If not, it's Epic.
You think that because it could be Xbox too? I could see it being all these people.
Oh, I just don't think it is. I don't know why. I know people are gonna be like, "It's because you're a hater. It's because you're a whatever." I just don't think so. My guess would be Epic or PlayStation.
I think I would bet PlayStation, and I'm not. I don't have any. I don't think it's because you worked there before or anything like that. I'm sure there's inroads because of it. I just feel like coming off of what we just talked about with all the indies and stuff like that, the way they talk about it, smallish, creatively charged, it reminds me a lot of how Haven sounded when it was starting up, right? Like, again, art for art's sake kind of thing. We're artists, we want to make cool stuff, which is awesome, and I love those kind of games. Obviously, it strikes me as what vibes with PlayStation to a degree. And it could easily be Epic, yeah, it could easily be Microsoft, it could be Phil Spencer throwing around some money getting them, but I bet it's gonna be PlayStation.
If we continue to work backwards, looking at like the back of the team's baseball card with like some exceptions, right? Like COD, Pathless, Abzu, Astroneer, Kena. It's like,
PlayStation.
Again,
PlayStation
doesn't necessarily mean, if anything, that could cut either way. It could mean, yeah, we'd love to work with PlayStation again, and they want us. It could be, I'm good. Like I don't know what they want, creatively and professionally as a unit, and also what's feasible. Obviously, them not partnering with PlayStation doesn't mean that PlayStation isn't interested in the project or what they're doing. It just means that that's not the partnership that ended up working out. A lot of times this thing comes down to just what ends up aligning, given all of the kind of behind the scenes stuff that we're often not privy to. So, yeah, but I am interested to see what that partnership looks like. But it does feel like we saw this before with Haven. So PlayStation, I think, is a good guess for that reason.
And that's my thing, right? Like PlayStation was my go-to for the question, partly because we're on a PlayStation podcast and, I got to keep it spicy. We got to keep those talking points hot, but also because
where'd you get that cool merch?
Oh man, Patreon, not Patreon. KindaFunny.com/store.
store. We got our shirts at KindaFunny.com.
I haven't pimped the store in a minute. But yeah, I look at the way they're announcing themselves, and it reminds me of Haven, but then also it lines up a lot with PlayStation seemingly partnering a lot with these studios that are led by these people that we know creatively, right? Like they have the game, the Haven is literally Jade Raymond, but then you go through the list of these PlayStation partnered studios that they're doing that aren't PlayStation owned. They're not PlayStation studios, but they're partnering with these smaller studios that are working on interesting things. So you have that, you have Deviation, you have, I always mix them up. It's either Firewalk or Fire Sprite. One of them is indie. One of them is partnering with PlayStation to make a cool smaller game as well. I think this lines up with that methodology, and we haven't heard about one of those in a while. And what I think it was Housemark that had the very similar phrasing too. When
I'm very impressed. I was waiting for you to stop so I could throw that out there. Yeah.
Yep.
If you remember, ladies and gentlemen, back when they were like, "Hey, Arcade's dead. We're making this multiplayer thing," and then months later, maybe a year, whatever it was, they're like, "You know what? We're done. We're done with that thing. We have a partner who's super stoked about our next thing. We're doing that with them," and that turned out to be Returnal before they got bought.
Yeah, and it's so one for one that at this point I'm banking money on PlayStation. Of course, it could be Xbox, right? It could be hey, they made Uncharted and they made these other cool games on PlayStation. Let's try and get that competition going. Could be Epic. It could be a number of things, but I'll bet money on PlayStation at this point.
Just to bring it up real quick because it always confuses me, and I just want to be clear. Fire Sprite is a PlayStation studio, a first-party studio.
Okay.
Firewalk is in a publishing partnership with Sony Interactive for the AAA multiplayer game.
Thank you. Okay.
So they're both, I mean, you can play it fast and loose, really. One's completely owned, one's just making a PlayStation game, but
right. And like one of the Firewalk is the one that I was trying to pull for like partnership, of this level. But working our way back, right? They're working on a smallish, creatively charged, uniquely stylized game that explores the possibilities of the medium. What do you want that to be, right? Like Bruce Straley, again, formerly of Naughty Dog, and did Uncharted, did Last of Us, is working on a brand new game. Janet, what would you want?
Ooh, obviously I want whatever they want to make, but that's like such a boring answer. I honestly, when I look at their website, the first game I think of is Flower, not just because it's called Wildflower, but because of the animations that they have going on. If I'm thinking about a uniquely stylized, creatively that's every game. Okay, Kana, Abzu. I want a game where there is an emphasis on locomotion, not necessarily a platformer, but I want a game where it feels good to move through space and time, because I think that is what the Pathless does. I think Abzu does that, but with opposite energy, where Abzu is a very calm way to move through space, and the Pathless is a very chaotic way to move through space. So that's what I want, and I want it. I don't want to just say like the art style of what they have on the site, though. I feel like that is kind of, so they got this interesting like Life is Strange 1 doodle vibe on their website. I want this to be a game, again, a game with an emphasis on movement, but not necessarily super challenging, that plays with the presentation. So I want some stuff to have like that interesting, like hand-drawn animation moment, but then I want like a shock where I'm like taken out of that art style into something else, kind of similar to that indie that I think got shown off for Nintendo, where you're like in the book and then you're out of the book. I don't know if y'all know what game I'm talking about, but that's me quickly making it up, and it's divided into chapters, and there's 5 chapters. That's the game.
You gotta love 5 chapters is the best,
Not too much, not too little. You feel like you don't want to do it all in one sitting. You could, but you don't want to. You want to spread it out. Yeah, that's
that's the game. Spot. Yes. Oh my God, what a good
Plucky Squire. It's a Devolver Digital.
Yes.
Devolver Digital. Yeah. So I want. That's what I'm thinking. So it's like Plucky Squire meets.
No one was before we were recording the show. Just
shooting
shit on Discord. No one knows what we're talking about. Don't be like, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, man. Devolver Digital has the stuff. And a person to step it up.
Fish tank in the chat's not gonna pop up. Be like, you're right, Bless.
Hold on. I think after most things, you could say that's what I'm saying, or that's what I'm talking about, and people know what you're talking. Because you're like. It's like, like that's just like a longer,
know what he's actually referencing.
Like, you guys know what I'm referencing.
Well, here's the thing, and this is what's ruined now because Greg had to explain it, but it was working on 2 levels, because like we knew, but even if you didn't know, you still got the same sentiment, and that's why it worked. But anyway, that's the game. Blessing, what is this game?
Ooh, I don't know. See, we were talking just now, I was looking through the website and trying to find. Like, they have the list of people that work there right now and what they do, but like there's not an easy way to flip and see like, okay, what was their past work? And so I'm like looking at the artists, I'm like, all right, what did they do art on? Did they do art on Pathless, or did they do art on Flower? Because this is important. And so I was able to piece that together. I'm sure if I spend time after this podcast, I'll be able to do like some kind of conspiracy theory. But like in terms of what I want, it's interesting because, again, I think Bruce Straley, I think of Uncharted because that's what he worked on, right? In The Last of Us. And I think ideally I would like more of those kinds of games with that kind of direction. That said, they're talking about something stylized. They're talking about something creative. They're talking about something. They're making it. They said smallish, right? Like they're not going to have something of the size and scope of Uncharted. I think this is going to be more of an artsy game. And with that, like with this team, sure, like make another Pathless type game, make another like another Solar Ash type game. Like I like those games that are locomotion driven, where the part of the fun itself is the movement of the game. And for what I watched the video that Bruce Straley put out on the company website, or on the YouTube channel, and he sounds like he's in his I want to make some art bag. He doesn't sound like he's trying to take back the world or like create the next big thing.
Well, this is what happens to everybody, right? This is what happens to everybody who gets to the top of the top for AAA games. Is that you burn the fuck out, you walk away, and then you're like, you know what? Well, I'm stupid. I want to make video games. I just want to make something, and you come back and you make something small. Yeah. Or if you're Ken Levine, you say that, and then you never come back. You say at one point, I'm going to make a Vita game. Then you're like, you know what? We're laying everybody off. We're going to make a smaller game. And then we never hear from you again. But it's like, that's what I think you're getting here. Real quick, what I think you're going to get from this is something super small, set in nature, a nature focused kind of thing. I don't know if it's necessarily like Flower that you are nature, but I think the world's going to be a big thing. And I think it's going to have a big childlike sense of wonderment. I think it's going to have that, like, you're in a coloring book, the way everything moves. Genie. Yeah. But I think even more than that, like more movement of nature there. I think I know this is a weird and abstract way to put it, I guess, but think of like the mechanic of following the wind in Ghost Tsushima, but think of that as like the world all the time.
You play a
that vibrant and living around you. What?
And when the kid looks at different things in nature, you are like kind of transported to those areas. So there you go.
Published by Annapurna.
Yeah, which it could go either way. It could go either way on how that turns out. But yeah, that's the game. You're welcome. They're like, actually, we had nothing in mind. We were waiting for podcasters to tell us what to do. You're welcome. But yeah, like, I mean, obviously it's not everyone's dream, but I feel like, isn't it the ultimate creative thing to be like, now I just do my art and whatever weird idea. But also, everyone's getting paid still. You know what I mean? Like that's the ultimate fantasy.
Doing. Like that's
is that not what we're doing? Is that not what Patreon is? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, like let me do my weird art, and then people were like, yeah, and you're like, yeah, and that's it. And that's great. So I love that for them. Hope the game comes out and is dope. But we'll see.
Have fun, Bruce Straley. Have fun in your artist era. Let's talk about Discord, because Discord.
Don't get me going.
Discord is coming to Xbox before PlayStation? Question mark. How, what, and why? I'm pulling from The Verge, who wrote this story. This is Ash Parrish and Tom Warren. Discord and Microsoft are bringing Discord voice calls to the Xbox. The feature available now to Xbox insiders and coming soon to the rest of us will allow users to connect to Discord voice chats from their Xbox, facilitating all kinds of cross-platform play shenanigans. The process of connecting your Xbox and Discord accounts and starting up a voice chat is pretty involved. First, you have to download the Xbox mobile app, as you'll use your phone to transfer Discord calls to an Xbox. Then you have to connect your Xbox to your Xbox account to your Discord one. Once that's done, whenever you want to talk with your Discord homies on Xbox, you can start a Discord call, then hit the transfer to Xbox button, choose an Xbox console on the Xbox mobile app. I said Xbox a lot, and you're done. Xbox. Microsoft and Discord will start rolling out this new integration to select Xbox insiders today, and it'll expand to more testers in the coming weeks. And I know if you're listening, you're probably like, why are we doing this Xbox story? You said Xbox 1,000 times. Well, if you remember, PlayStation invested heavily in Discord to
more than Discord 1 year ago,
very long ago, to get Discord heavily integrated into PlayStation. Greg Miller, why is Discord coming to Xbox before PlayStation?
Fuck, God damn it, son of a bitch! Remember, May 2021, this gets announced, announcing PlayStation's new partnership with Discord, and we're like, this is huge. We're like, there was like, is this going to replace voice chat and parties on PlayStation? We're like, no, absolutely not. But hopefully it'll get its own app and you'll be able to use it and yada, yada, yada. And then fucking radio silence for months. Then finally they're like, hey, great news, everybody. You can start linking your Discord to your PSN. So when you're on Discord, it'll show what game you're playing or whatever. And we're all like, oh, okay, well, at least something's happening. The ball's moving. We understand good things take time. And then I'm fucking roll out of bed today. What do I got to see? Xbox over here beating their chest with a goddamn Discords. How? Why? What happened?
Janet,
what's the point of spending all this money if you don't get the exclusivity out of it?
The lifting is so heavy that they're still doing it. That's at least, I guess, like me and Bless's conspiracy theory that we had from KFGD of, maybe they're just hopefully, like, my hope is that when it does come to PlayStation, it will be better. And not that this is not to say like I just need it to be better than Xbox because like that's what I need in my life. I just mean that the Xbox part that's lacking is having an app on the console. So I'm hoping that PlayStation will have the app on the console, and that maybe that's why it's taking longer, and that it's just going to be like a slowly rolled out thing. And I think that's about it. But that is why it was surprising, and it was funny to see. We did like the KFGD episode with a story. And of course, like I hang out in the comments sometimes and I'll be like, oh, thanks for watching, listening, and then occasionally, there's some stuff there that I'm like, I'll just keep scrolling. And people are like, why are you so mad over this? Like, you just hate it. I'm like, it's not because I hate Xbox. It's because, it doesn't help. No, I'm just kidding. But it's because it's surprising because of the partnership. Like, that's the story here and what's intriguing about it. And that's kind of like where it begins and ends, right? It's just an odd thing to have happened because you wouldn't expect it based on everything else we know. It feels like there's a glitch in the Matrix or something, which happens pretty often in life anyway. So I'm not totally shocked. Do I think? So, I don't know. I'm not ready to say yes because I feel like that's very tinfoil hat.
Get that tinfoil hat out.
At the same time, like there's like a girl that walks out on my block very frequently with her skateboard and her dog each time. You know, there's some stuff that just feels like the same. You know what I mean?
That's what you pull. That's what you pull. There's one girl who skateboards with a dog. That's like, you're like, that ain't right.
First of all, that synopsis sounds awesome. Second of all, yeah, there's just certain things that feel a little too convenient. Who's to say that this isn't just like a big thing of The Sims? But I don't care either way because I'm living my life until
me, and I
die or
we
dissolve.
say the same things on different shows, or like before you enter a call, we say that we describe the Devolver the same way. But what you pull is awkward is that a woman next to you has a dog and a skateboard. That's what is weird to you.
Look, there's a lot of things going on. I could point to. That's the thing. I'm like,
yo, she's always leaving at 8:55 in the morning.
Sometimes it's not the same time. It's just like I feel like whenever I'm there, like it like spawns in, you know.
Sure.
So there's a bit of that. Yeah. Though also too, real quick, a shot said me and Greg being the same person. I forgot what game it was with, but my brother was like, "Well, if you're like Greg and you and I are the same, that means I also am Greg by the transitive property." So it's like, we'll see what Greg thinks of this, and then we're all saving time based on just if we all play enough of the games, we'll figure it out.
Rick and Morty episode where there's just 100 Gregs, and I don't like it.
That's a great text message thread where we could divide and conquer, and everybody plays different games and watches different things, and then comes together and like, here's our opinion. And we're just like, great, I have an opinion. This
is getting ahead of what I'm gonna save it.
We've lost the thread. I don't know if we have a thread anymore. I forget what the news story is.
I am surprised. That's the end thing. Is this shocking? Is this whatever? Surprised. Hopefully this means that the PlayStation integration will be freaking amazing and flawless because it's taking so long.
And soon.
Fingers crossed. That's the thread.
I hope so. Like my prediction is that we'll get it sometime in 2023. I think that I would imagine that they're working hard on it and making it actual, deep integration within PlayStation. I don't know if it's going to replace what we have currently in voice chat, but I wouldn't mind it because Discord is really great. And I like, excuse me, I think that would be the thing that would make it make sense if they're like really going above and beyond with it. And like, this Xbox thing is more so of no, we want to get Discord apps on all consoles or Discord integration to some level on all consoles, but PlayStation is getting the good stuff. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe it is just I don't know, man. The PlayStation button broke at Discord and they forgot to fix it, and it's gonna come later. Who knows? But yeah, I'm jealous, Xbox. Have fun with your Discord. Hopefully we get there soon. One more story for PlayStation updates. What cool things can you do with PlayStation toys and board games? I asked this question because Sony's partnering up with Spin Master. I'm reading from Rachel Kaiser at GamesBeat. Spin Master today announced it has entered a new licensing agreement with PlayStation. The former is the toy licensee for first-party PlayStation titles, meaning it will make merch for several of Sony Interactive Entertainment's biggest brands. Spin Master rose to success thanks to properties like Paw Patrol, and it has been expanding its man, Greg, what are you doing to me? Goddamn.
No, it's happening.
It's happening.
Oh, man. I hope you ordered your exams from the government.
Oh, man. We did. Well, Michael did. I'll just steal his. Spin Master rose to success to properties, thanks to properties like Paw Patrol, and has been expanding its interest in gaming recently. In 2021, it created a $100 million fund, Spin Master Ventures, to invest in toys, entertainment, and digital games. The PlayStation-centric toy line is expected to launch sometime in spring 2024. Of course, Roger's been scrolling through, showing us some of what Spin Master has done before. They seem to have partnerships with like Netflix and other brands as well. They got hella board games. They got Candyland, they got Clue, they got the Curb Your Enthusiasm, a role-playing game apparently. Janet, what PlayStation board game or toy do you want?
I want I'm looking through their actual like toys and games section and seeing the type of things they make, and I'm just trying to think of silly integrations with PlayStation IP. Like they have like the little air hog like spinny things. I want that, but with I don't know, like Aloy's glider or something. Like I want silly, weird, fun stuff. Just because why not? I mean, give me the God of War sewing machine. Why not? Let me make a Leviathan scrunchie. Like get weird with it. But on a more like what I would care about as like a person that has a shelf of garbage behind me, I would want maybe, it's tough. Maybe like some things that have like a light practical application, like themed. I have like some fidget like type things. Like I have like it's not, I don't have a, God, what is it called? It's not slime, but it's something similar to that, like funky stuff like that. I have a magic 8-ball like Gudetama, the lazy egg guy. Give me like something funky like that, but with a PlayStation IP would be what I personally want as a consumer. But also, as someone that wants to save money, maybe I don't need any of these things, and that you could just make stuff for kids or something that I won't need to be bothered with it. But
I mean, you definitely won't need any of this stuff. We can all guarantee, but that's not what this is about.
Some things I do need though. Like you ever what's the last? Do y'all not have? Here's the thing, because you guys don't really have as much garbage. I feel like anymore. Do you not see something and you're like, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm getting this? Because that was me with they dropped a bunch of vinyls of Chicory. Instant buy.
Oh, dude,
I dropped like $80 on vinyl.
Every now and then, I got an Annapurna game collection.
Oh, you got an Annapurna game collection.
I got an Annapurna.
I wanted that too. I saw that. I wanted that, but I'm like, I already have these games.
It is
interesting that Blessing got the Annapurna thing. Chat, you know.
Wait, did Patreon chat doesn't know about that?
No, nobody does. It's back to the reference earlier with the Devolver thing.
Here's the thing.
Before the show,
they were having a conversation on Annapurna versus Devolver Digital on who has the heat more.
The point I was making is that I think we give modern Annapurna too much credit, because now for the last couple of years,
we're not doing this now. This is a conversation for a different.
They've had too many misses. Okay, so here's what I'll say. What I want, I'll like a Little Big Planet board game. I think that'd be fun. What I think we're for sure gonna get. And I didn't play I didn't like Machine Strike that much in Horizon.
Oh God!
But I would put money down on they're going to make a physical version of Machine Strike.
Okay, hold on though. How much did you guys play Machine Strike?
Just enough for the first thing. I know I have to go back for get the trophy for it. Or whatever.
I did like a couple of the tutorial ones, and I was like, no.
Okay, here's the thing. I feel like it kind of hits low-key. I don't know. Call me crazy. I think if you actually give it a chance, really play through it more, which I don't fault you for not, because I didn't either. I kind of liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know.
See,
would you buy a physical one?
I think I would. It's tough because you just know Isaiah's gonna serve me some L's if we buy that game, because he's better at physical board games than me by a lot. But yeah, I think I would. I really like Horizon. It's probably, I think at this point, one of my favorite IPs, I guess. Kind of that relationship kind of snuck up on me, but yeah, I've loved both the games. I think I would. I think I would buy it.
Look at it and think about what Spin Master's going to do, right? Because you guys are hung up on games, which obviously they invest in toys, entertainment, and digital games, right? I think the toys are simple, right? You make a PlayStation line, and it's all the main characters. So it's everybody in the the movie bumper that goes before. So Ratchet and Clank, Aloy, Nathan Drake, Kratos, and Atreus, obviously. When you look at what they already have. Oh yeah, I sent this one over. Spin Master did the Batman toys. They had sent me a package, so there's right there. You got the car with little Batman. You got the big Batman guy. Shit like that. I'm sure Aloy and a giant machine, like we're talking about, right? Kind of spin off that. It'll be interesting to see which universes they invest in to actually make a more of a line than just the mascot characters. But if we're going with the entertainment part of it, right? Invest in entertainment of it. I look at some of the games here, and I think they're big on your trivia game nights, right? So like Netflix trending now card game for, it's trying to figure out what's big on Netflix and shit like that. I could see them doing stuff like that with PlayStation trivia, Cards Against Humanity knockoff that's, themed PlayStation stuff.
So much.
Of course we would. Yeah. Hey, what do we want to do for topic of the show? We got no ideas. We'll play the PlayStation card game again.
Oh my God.
I always thought I've always wanted a video game version of Timeline. Have either of you played Timeline before?
No, I don't know what that is.
Super simple game. You're just putting things in order in a timeline. So they have them themed on different stuff. They have a general history one. They have one that's themed on inventions. So basically you all get I'm making up the numbers because I don't remember offhand, but we all get 5 cards, and if we put down it in the wrong spot in the timeline, we have to take another card or something like that. And the goal is to finish your hand first. But as you go, stuff becomes easier or harder. So it's okay, America was formed versus 9/11 happened. I think I know the order of those. That seems pretty obvious, but it gets more tricky when it's like, oh, I know this was like in 2008 or like in the 2000s because it was like around the recession, but I don't know which one can, and, you kind of play that game. So I always thought like having a video game version of that would be super fun if they did one with like PlayStation history. Yeah, that could be cool.
I can see that. Like, I feel like Death Stranding would be hard mode because like I know what happened in that game. I couldn't tell you what order anything happened.
Oh, that'd be a next level. I didn't even think of that, where it's like game specific. That might be too specific.
I thought that's where you're going. Like, what's the lore? Like, when did certain events in games happen?
Nothing else.
When did Kratos get the Leviathan axe and shit?
Now, obviously, we have to check the legality because I don't want to get sued. Or I don't want us to get sued because then maybe you guys have to be like, you have to let me go or something. But we should do, if we're allowed to, that for when the studio opens back up, we make our own of these different games and we try to like timeline the games out.
Ooh. That actually sounds like a great topic that we should do for the show at some point.
Okay. Write it down in the book, the wish book.
Be like, give me Astrobot Kinetic Sand, Spin Master. You're already making Kinetic Sand. Make some more.
Now
let's move on to PlayStation picks.
Now it's time for PlayStation picks. This is where we talk about what's coming out this week, and each of us talk about the one thing we picked to play on PlayStation. Starting with the drop this week, we got Endling. Extinction is forever. As the last mother fox on Earth, your cubs need all your care to survive in a merciless world that slowly destroys itself. You have to help them, teach them, and save them. And you should never forget that extinction is forever. Yeah, right? It's kind of brutal. You're getting Stray. That came out on PS5 and PS4 Tuesday, July 19th. And don't forget, that's part of PlayStation Plus Extra. And so if you get that, you can get the game for a cheaper price. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium comes to PS4 on Thursday, July 21st. Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp comes to PS4 on Thursday, July 21st. And then River City Saga 3 Kingdoms comes Thursday, July 21st. Let's start with Greg. What'd you pick to play on PlayStation this week?
I made good on my promise of being interested in Mothmen 1966. Remember when I talked about this game?
No.
You weren't on last week.
Oh, okay.
It came up and I was like, I've been looking forward to this one. Look at that. I was going to say Bear. Sorry, Raj is running the ones and twos today. He's got the trailer up already. I'm going to read you the official one here. Mothmen 1966, the first visual novel in a series inspired by mid-20th century pulp fiction in 80s home computer graphics, published by Chorus Worldwide and developed by LCB Game Studio, investigates a bunch of paranormal anomalies. If you're looking at it, it should make more sense. If you're not, I'll read the next part of it, right? The idea is that you are, well, this is what I'm reading, I'm actually telling you. These 4 characters are who you play as. It's 11 chapters. It's a choose-your-own-adventure game. But as I described before, right, it looks like the game they play in the start and the end of Big. The one where you're talking to the wizard and you try to use your magic wand to unfreeze the thing. And they describe it officially as this. ZX Spectrum style 8-bit visuals and an ethereal lo-fi soundscape. Observe obscure cryptids with binoculars and dive ever deeper into implausible mysteries, blurring the line between scientific fact and science fiction. When I saw the trailer that we just watched for it, I was like, this looks awesome. And it's that coin flip of this will be complete trash or really cool. Sent away from my code. Got it. Janet, stop what you're doing and go get this game.
Wow.
Because it is
finally
it is
every week
$9.
I tune in to do my job and I'm like on the edge of my seat with these game wrecks. Okay.
It's $9. It isn't super long. I started it at lunch today. I'm in chapter 7, and like I said, there's 11 chapters. I think I looked at how long to beat. They put it at an hour and a half just to finish. If you were going to platinum it, 2 hours and a little bit more. So you're not getting a lot out of it, but $9. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, are we?
I don't want to. I want these games to play themselves. At this point, I have so much going on. Shorter the better.
And it is like, again, choose your own adventure. If you like those kind of books, if you've enjoyed that kind of thing, if you enjoy that kind of storytelling, the gameplay of it, few and far between to an extent. You know, you are making choices as you play, but it's not like As Dusk Falls or Life is Strange, where the story is branching, yada yada yada. Like, you can make the wrong choice and get killed. And then it's like, okay, you have to retry or go back to the main menu. And you retry and try to figure your way out that way. You saw a couple of little gameplay mini games they have in there. There's a solitaire thing. So far, I've had to rearrange items on a shelf. There was one really annoying one I felt that I wasn't feeling of how to adjust my binoculars to actually see something in the distance. It was kind of clunky or whatever. Go ahead.
Okay, last thing before, because you didn't beat it yet, right?
Mm-mm.
Is there a risk that this falls apart at the end?
I don't think so, because I mean, so let me get to it.
I'm
right?
buying it.
one of the again, they talk about it being a Pulp Fiction thing, right? It smacks of that, and I have enjoyed where I am so far. It is an episode of the X-Files, right? Look at she did it. It's an episode of the X-Files. It is a, you know, over the top thing, but it's like you're getting the, you know, the very 8-bit graphics at the top, right? The text is popping up, and so much of it is like a novel where, you know, I'm playing the character Vicky, right? Or Vic is what they keep calling her, Victoria. I was like, what's Vic short for? I'm playing Victoria, but even between the choosing dialogue options, I'm reading what she's thinking, right? Of like, it reads like a novel of like, oh, you know, you're keeping this from him and you're not saying that, and you really feel this way and your stomach churns and blah, blah. And it's like written very pulpy, where it is like over the top teenage drama, but like from the moment, the opening chapter, which is the prologue, right? Where the guy at the gas station is like just thinking about his grandma. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm way into this. So I'm having a great time with that. Full disclosure, I'm playing on the Steam Deck. That's where I got my code originally for review. But I'm super stoked. I like it a lot. You know, tonight probably this is the next time I'll get time to play games once Benjamin goes down. I can't wait to finish it and see what's up. And it also gets me super excited is that they call it the first visual novel in a series. So looks like there'll be more stuff from this, but it's set in 1966. Mothman's there, obviously, and you know, through 4 different perspectives, we're on the case of doing it. And it's got my attention. I'm really enjoying it.
It's new too, right?
Hour and a half is how long the beat says.
Okay.
That's tracking. You know what I mean? Again, where you get stuck and how many times, you know, you spend on a little bit of a puzzle, maybe, you know, more or less. And then I looked at the trophy list because I was like, do I want to go back and play this on PlayStation? It is like one of them is, you know, get every death possible. So I'm sure that would add the time of going through and doing it.
Hell yeah. Janet, what'd you pick to play?
I played more Fortnite. I'm in between. I'm kind of in between games because I'm working on a bunch of other stuff, so I haven't started anything new. So on PlayStation, usually if I am playing something on PlayStation, is Fortnite. I'm all in. The crew auto renewed, as I know you all would know that it was going to. Like, I got the crew pass or whatever for like $10, $15, or how much it is. So they gave me my V-Bucks, and what did I do? I went to the store, and I immediately spent all the V-Bucks. I got a skin that's a woman who is roller skating to Doja Cat's Kiss Me More, and I was like, this is great. I will say I was bummed, though, because I didn't, and again, I'm like a Fortnite noob, so I'm sure this is obvious to people that have been playing for like a million years, but I was sad that it's a skin-specific emote, because I wanted to put that emote on Spider-Man, and I'm a little sad that I can't. Like, are you joking? That's all I want. I did give her, though, like the Spider-Man like jump or whatever, but you know, you pick your battles. But
these
it's
emotes
great.
are starting to step up. Like, I know they for a while.
Did you see the leak that they're gonna have? I heard they're having DBZ characters next.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's a leak right now. It's a rumor. I don't know if it's gonna be true, but like
you've probably heard the TikTok song that's like I ain't never been with a baddie, and like there's the whole dance that goes with it. They added that into Fortnite. They either added it or it's going to be added. Once they add that, oh man, I'm picking that up, and then I'm buying the DBZ character. I'm making Goku do that dance because like that sounds like a dream to me.
Yeah, the rumor leak is that Goku. Thank you for pulling this up. Goku, Vegeta, and then what's the other guy's name? So it's a B or something.
Oh, Beerus.
Yeah. I kind of like don't like, and I watched it, and I know you're thinking like, why do I care about this? I watched a lot of DBZ as a kid. Like, who didn't? Like, I just did. Like, I was all in on Dragon Ball Z. So like, I'm bringing out the Visa card. I don't care how many views I have. I'm spending it all on Vegeta. I do not give a fuck. They put Bulma in there, I'm back at it again. Like, it's gonna be rough. But I played very few matches this week because I've been really busy, but with my little bit of energy, I did play 2 matches. One where I got killed almost immediately because I have a house basically in my mind, my headcanon in that game, because that's where I planted my tree. If you know, you know. They have trees that you can plant and you get weapons. I plant them by, like, there's like a pond in the middle that has like a house. It's not too far from the gas station. So put your plant there if you're interested. It's a good spot. There's also a chest that spawns a lot by that lake. I dropped there, but so did, guess what? Freaking Darth Vader. And I'm like, you're already level 100? I already know I'm getting murked. I don't even got any guns on me right now. Died number 74. Second one, I'm going to drop it on Twitter. It didn't upload. I got a Victory Royale off of killing nobody. I hid the whole time.
Hell yeah.
Like a gutless weenie. And what happened when I had to run out? When it was only just the two of us? They have the higher ground. They're probably gonna win. I barely know how to play the game. I did have 2 legendary guns though. I start running. I'm running with all my might. I'm like, I already know I gotta heal. And what do? They drop down and they die from the fall damage. And I'm like, oh,
let's go.
Nothing's better than. It was so funny because Isaiah was watching me play and like he is better at game, like that kind of game in general, because he's way better at shooters. And he's like, you gotta be more aggressive. And I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I pick my spot. This is how I play. And he's like, oh man, like, you know, like you're definitely gonna die kind of thing, but he like didn't want to say anything. And then I won. He's like, I can't believe you won off of it. And he's like, we gotta watch the replay. What happened to this person? And I'm like, that's what happens. When you want to kill, you die. I knew my spot. I saw this dude sniping people from the top. I'm like, this is someone that plays at another level. I'm gonna hide in this apartment. This is now my apartment, and I did it, and I got it, and I freaking love this game. Didn't have this on my bingo card. I'm all in on Fortnite. I can't get enough. 0 build only though, because I don't know how to build.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I picked on PlayStation. What did you pick on PlayStation, Les?
So I went to a Saints Row preview event. I won't talk too much about it. Instead, I'll point people toward KFGD, and then also I have a preview TikTok that the lovely Roger plus his editing team worked on. So go check out that TikTok, and then also check out the KFGD. But in short, I had a pretty good time playing Saints Row during my preview. You know, it's more Saints Row. I think that's the short of it. It is more of what you like and maybe possibly dislike if you're not a big fan of Saints Row. They're not doing anything new to bring you in, but if you're a fan of Saints Row, it is more of that kind of gameplay. I think the chaos is fun. I think the writing has that similar goofy energy, if not toned down just like a tad bit, and also it's way more grounded than something like Saints Row 4, where you had superpowers and there was an alien invasion and a lot happening. It is back to Saints Row 2/3-ish.
Your preview made me want to play. Like, I'm interested to play that. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'd stick it all the way through, but, you know, I do love a good open world. I do love running around. It looked like it'd be fun.
Honestly, as I was playing it, I was reminded of Dying Light 2, and I kind of put it in that similar place. Dying Light 2 was an open world game that
you're saying the end's gonna suck, and we're all gonna hate it.
Honestly, I can see it. Like it's that thing of, you know, it was fun. I think it has the motions down, you know, and the like what we want out of an open world in terms of leveling up, and you know, Saints Row, because it's, you know, driving and shooting all this shit, right? When you're driving, they have those RPG systems built in to where if you drive on the opposite side of the road, you're like gaining score and XP. If you do the near misses, you're getting XP. And they're implementing the RPG aspects in those small ways that had to be like, oh man, okay, no, I'm gonna drive reckless for a little bit just to do this. I do the same thing when I'm playing Forza.
You're a bad boy.
Yeah, no, I like driving like a bad boy in that game, and so yeah, I had a good time with it. I can't wait for it to come out. I think it's gonna be a good time. But what I did pick to play on PlayStation this week, like I mentioned at the top of the show, I played Escape Academy last night. Yeah. I finished chapter 1. I assume it's like 3 puzzles per chapter or something like that.
There's 13, I think, right? Isn't that what I said? That there's 13 puzzles?
13 overall. Yeah, I think 13 overall, and that includes like the intro. So we did the intro, and then I think we did 3 or 4 more. Actually, we did 1 into like the second chapter, I want to say. So we're quite a few puzzles in. Maybe 2/3 of the game left, I imagine. I had a fun time. The puzzles are pretty good. My big beef that I had with it last night is that me and Yami partied up online, and what I didn't realize is that the game keeps the split screen even when you're playing online, similar to It Takes Two, which for me, in a game like It Takes Two, I don't really care. I don't think that's much of a problem. In a game like Escape Academy, where it is you are in an escape room, you are solving puzzles with your co-op partner, both of you are going to your separate ends of the room to like read things and read clues and figure out how to solve the puzzle. Being able to see my co-op partner split screen the entire time, I feel like defeats so much of the purpose and frustrated me so much when we were playing, especially because it didn't feel like a big deal. I was like, why isn't there just a setting that I can turn off?
Maximize your screen space.
Yeah, maximize the screen space, and then also like I don't want to see what's going on the screen because I want her to talk to me and have to like read out the numbers, read off the colors, and do those cool things that I think worked when we played Operation Tango last year. That's what I love the most about that game, is having put trust in my teammate to describe to me these weird things that they're looking at that I have no idea what they look like.
That's part of the fun, right? Yeah. Like, I fucked it up. I fucked up the cipher. Sorry, it's actually.
So like I was complaining about that so much when we were playing last night, and then I tweeted about it, and then the developer actually replied back and said, "Oh no, we've heard this before, and we're working on making it toggleable in the next quality of life patch." And so big shout out to Coin Crew Games. Absolutely love a responsive dev, and I can't wait for them to add that because I do think that that's going to take it to another level in terms of, especially in terms of difficulty.
Should I wait then for like for that patch to drop? Because I'm busy anyway. It's not like
Are you gonna play? Are you gonna play online with somebody?
Oh shoot, you're right. No, I'm not.
Yeah, if you're playing local, then just.
I guess I'll ask Isaiah if he wants to, because we both have PlayStations, so like we could just do it online. But we both need a copy of the game though, right? To do that,
you both will. Yeah. But it's on Game Pass.
So yeah, but we're playing. I know, but I have my code's on PlayStation. I want to be on PlayStation.
The game also, I know I didn't double check this. Don't quote me on this. Might be crossplay because there's a code system for getting people to join. You can send people a code and they can join your game. I don't know if that's a crossplay thing or if that's just they wanted an extra way for people to join.
Because I'm down for local because it's easier, and then we don't already have my code, so we're good. Yeah. But I'll see what he wants to do. I mean, we also both have Xbox consoles as well, but it's just like I got my code on PlayStation because I wanted to play it on PlayStation.
This is what I'll say too. I was definitely making a mountain of a molehill when I was mad about it.
That's a lot of what we. Okay, great. Thank you for for checking that. I feel like that's a lot of, as long as you're not toxic with it, that's a lot of gaming, though. You know what I mean?
For
like,
sure.
I don't think it's. I mean, I was surprised when you said that. I had no idea, and no one. And you're right. I feel like people hadn't been talking about it with that game.
So for about crossplay, it was funny because last night, as I noticed that they had a code situation, I was like, oh, that's interesting that they have that. Oh, it must be crossplay. And then I realized that I made Yami buy the game on PlayStation, and so
oh my god,
I was like, oh, Yami, I think they might actually have crossplay. And she was like, it's fine. She likes to save clips when we play sometimes if we make funny jokes to tweet them out anyway, and so it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, that was a funny moment that we had.
You owe her $30, or how much is it?
It was like $20, I think. But I do owe her that money. But the other thing is back to the mountain, making a mountain of a molehill thing. You know, both me and Yami were complaining about it through the first 2 levels, and then we got to like level 3 and 4, and then we were like, oh man, maybe it was a good thing we could see each other's screens because some of these puzzles are way more difficult than I thought they were going to be. They're not impossible by any means. Like they're not.
It was that thing of playing with you split screen at the event, like when we needed the cipher, and I needed it. I found it easy to look at your screen. I know part of the. You could have had the nobody explodes moment of like you trying to describe a shape to me and me trying to figure out which one it was. Like, but there is that level of frustration. I feel like I talked about in my review, right? Like I feel like Escape Academy's secret sauce is that it's meant to be achieved. Like they want you to be able to do this and not feel like you're running your head into a wall and get mad.
But there were a couple of puzzles where legitimately me and Yami were running our head into a wall where we were looking at and one of the levels was like like you're communicating with people that are doing a thing and you're trying to guide them through, and one of them was, hey, find the code so this guy can escape. And we were sitting there for 20 minutes just both looking at the same things, trying to figure out what the fuck are we getting wrong. And like we ended up using the hint, and when we used the hint we were like, oh, I don't think we were gonna get that. Like we had a couple of those that surprised me honestly, because I didn't think that like in the streets they call me Puzzle Poppy. They do. And like I'm
how many names do you have, Bless?
Oh, there's a list. I can send you the Google document if you want.
Building the list.
Building the list. You know, Puzzle Poppy isn't used to running into walls like that in puzzle games, and so
I don't know if I can handle both you calling yourself Puzzle Poppy and also speaking in the third person at one time. It's a little bit of a lot.
Yeah, that upset me just now.
Yeah, Puzzle Poppy was having a difficult time, but we got through it. And so Escape Academy seems cool. I can't wait to play more. It is a fun game, and I'm glad that they're adding in the no split screen with the update. I'll report back to tell you guys how that goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's another episode of PS I Love You XOXO. Remember, we're your PlayStation podcast. Each and every Thursday, we record over on patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames. You can come watch live like Omega Buster, my dog, Nick96, Madeline Stanley. Of course, they're hanging out for the post show we're going to do over there, but you can get that on demand all on patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames, where you don't have to listen to ads and you can write in to be part of the show. However, if you want to get it on Friday, youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe. Of course, you get ads, you don't get the post show, but you have a good time. Until next time, we have a post show to do. So it's been our pleasure to serve you.